Tenpai Dragon is the kind of deck that is only appreciated by one type of players. The ones that play the deck. Yeah, because everybody else kind of hates it. Why, you may ask? Well, that's pretty simple. Every single card in the engine, other than Fadra, is a 1-card OTK. And also, it ignores a bunch of your cards, such as Nibiru and the Molchemis. Not to mention that their field spell is one of the most infuriating cards this game has ever seen. Yeah, alright, so all my monsters are unaffected, and also every single turn I get to search a 1-card OTK? Fair. I mean, why would anyone complain about this card? Tenpai is also the very first and currently the only deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where other than one single card in the deck, every single card either gets your engine started or takes away something from your opponent. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that this deck can also play Shifter, Dominus Impulse, and Heat Wave. So even the cards that are being played in the deck are really good. And you can play a lot of them because your engine is just a bunch of 1-card starters. So in a world where, let's say, you play 16 starters and 24 hand shops, considering Magnamut overlaps as both a starter and a hand shop, we are looking at a 99.34% chance of drawing one hand shop, a 92.70% chance of having two, a 69.21% chance of seeing 3 hand shops, and a 32.30% chance of drawing 4 hand shops in your opening hand. All of that while still having a 96.49% chance of drawing your 1-card starter, as your 6th draw does help you out with consistency. And by the way, this doesn't factor in the extra consistency that you get off of the Molchemi, so technically the consistency could be like 98+%. I've already covered all of that in the past, of course, so it's nothing new, but people seem to disregard that fact every single time they talk about the deck because they have a tendency to talk very negatively about Tenpai Dragon. They say it's trash, it scoops the D barrier, etc, blah blah blah. Yeah, well, except that it just doesn't. So Tenpai low-key actually has a really good time playing through D barrier. You can actually ask this to any good Tenpai Dragon player out there. And even though you usually won't kill through D-Barrier if you are playing Tenpai, you're at least making like Hieratic Seal and SP while generating a lot of advantage and follow-up in the process. The reason why this matters is because a lot of people seem to think that if you just resolve Thrust into D-Barrier, you win the game. But the thing is, your defensive non-engine cards won't make you win, they will just stall out the game and potentially delay the inevitable. You still have to progress your own game state to win against Tenpai because they could outgrind you, and since they play almost twice as many non-engine cards as the average deck, they have the tactical advantage here. So personally, I think Tenpai Dragon is clearly the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! At the current moment, and probably will remain that way until it gets completely crippled in the next ban list. There is a world in which Chandra or Kaiman gets limited, and if that happens, the deck will be way less reliable. The power level obviously won't change, but its consistency level will, and also its ability to recover after a failed OTK attempt. Because yes, unlike Glass Cannon OTK decks like, I don't know, Cyber Dragon Power Bond Turbo, Tenpai Dragon is actually amazing at just trying again next turn. Now, I think the main reason why people typically mock Tenpai Dragon and say that it's bad is because it usually isn't being played by the best players out there. I mean, the deck is a little too simplistic for the most part, and you only need to put in like 5% of the effort to reap 95% of the rewards. As a matter of fact, you don't even need to know like all the lines to OTK, since most people will scoop before you even get to the battle phase when they see the writing on the wall. You can be completely washed at the game and have an IQ equal or even lower than mine, which is actually an exploit by itself, and you will still manage to win more often than not. With that said, when the really high level players play it, they replicate their success so consistently that it can't all just be luck. After you get to a certain level of mastery with the deck, you start understanding that it is way more complex than what people are giving it credit for. And this is where we start seeing cleaner deck lists, smoother execution, and overall just better decision making. By that I mean knowing when to choose to go first, what game plan to have, etc. And also predicting when your opponents will make you go first and adjust yourself to that accordingly. Do you just always side in a bunch of trap cards and heat waves every single time you win the previous game just because you think that your opponent will make you go first? But what if he chooses to go first and you draw all those heat waves and trap cards going second? Now, even though this deck is not a combo deck like Yubel, because obviously it's not as tricky to navigate, there are still tons of other cool things to be aware of. As I have said before, the main reason why it's not seeing as much play is because pro players tend to gravitate more towards combo decks. They like to play combo decks since they have the highest ceiling out there, meaning the highest likelihood of outplaying their opponents. But honestly, if every pro player decided to play Tenpai Dragon like tomorrow, the deck would absolutely be tier 0. I'm not kidding when I say I genuinely believe that this is the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, and seeing the results of my friend Mario, I'm even starting to think that this deck might be the best deck of all time. But yeah, Konami, please do something about Tenpai Dragon before people start realizing it's the goo. Thank you very much. Anyways, that's all I had for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And please let me know how you feel about Tenpai Dragon in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.